everybody. Welcome to Chapter 5 of the Narcissistic Borderline Relationship Series. This chapter is called Domestication. So, I like to kind of go back to read some of your guys' comments from the last chapter, Chapter 4. Elena from Canada says, loved Part 4, David. Looking forward to Part 5. Couple red flags she noticed. Lisa booked a surprise trip. I guess she should have asked Mark if it's something that he really likes and wants. You would think. Job loss news, especially since they don't know each other that well and being gone for so long. Job loss news. Looking forward to watch Part 5 to see the development of the story. Thank you. Thank you, Elena. Martin from, gosh, I'm sorry, I can't remember where you're from, but your name here, Cernatura, I am. That's a great example of what the beginning of a toxic relationship looks like. Mark is having some doubts, but he convinced himself that he'll be fine. A road trip, these people barely know each other. Both are still mirroring. I paid for the road trip, even if I should save the little money I have because you paid for the dates. Liking the same food, except for one thing. Apparently, it's more important for her to get him roped in than anything else. Yeah, huh? The kind of, I don't care what we do. Let's just go back to here. Let's go on a trip. Let's do this. Let's do that. And just pushing it so fast. I wouldn't say Mark's innocent of it going so fast. He's not pushing it like she is. She also feeling important because he tells her he wanted to pay for the dates. And she feels like she owes him something. A lot, in fact. They will get dependent from each other real fast. Well, I've no job anymore and no money and no more money. It's kind of your fault, so will you help me? Don't you? Lordy Jordy says, this is so strange because my ex was diagnosed with BPD many years before I met her, but you can relate to pretty much all of this. I've watched your videos since CNXG days. Wow, that was years ago. Thank you. Mark seems to be very codependent to the point of orbiting her. Yeah. That's like an narcissistic avoidant person wants you to just orbit them. That's another thing I have learned from your videos. I was codependent to the point of enabling my own downfall. I love the format of these videos. It never fails to amaze me just how accurate you are, yet can describe it all in a way that makes total sense. Thank you for all the time you set aside to people. You're appreciated more than you'll ever know. So are you. Thank you. I appreciate you too. TM Cremixes. Okay, this one is a lot more difficult, but here's what I took from it. My Mark feeling scared after you said I love you back, and then he relived. Oh, and then relieved indicates he was in fact not ready to say it. When just moments before he asked himself the question, was I ready or do I want to be ready? He's looking at things in retrospect when the question he should constantly be asking himself is, am I ready? Not, was I ready? Lisa's mom has developed MS, and Lisa subconsciously perceived this as abandonment. Lisa's mom is independent and mentions she can do things herself, but Lisa constantly wants to help her, right? Remember the beginning? Lisa says, I'm there to help my mom. And then he goes and meets her mom. Mom says, I don't need help. Lisa is in a way parentifying her parents, or so it seems. Could be. Lisa doesn't know Mark well enough to know if he would like to go on a road trip, let alone 5 days, nor does she know his work schedule and whether he would be able to take 5 days off or not. Lisa says she paid for it because Mark paid for the debts. It's transactional, isn't it? You said an exchange of some sort. Yeah, transactional. Most non-genuine relationships that lack connection seem to be transactional, like drug like relationships with people who do drugs. They both drank too much was another example of boundaries disappearing, especially since they had just agreed on taking things slow. Remember that? Then she invites him right back in the house again, where the first mistake happened. Neither take accountability for going over their boundaries, and they blame it on something external, the elevation. When they arrive back at the trip, Lisa finds out she lost her job. She mentions it was a temporary job. Early on, you mentioned her mom was on a fixed welfare income due to being sick. It sounds like Lisa knew that her financial situation was not at all stable, and it seems she acted out of impulse to love bomb Mark. There's an element of grandiosity. Lisa's acting like she's a big spender when in fact her financial situation is far less stable. Yeah, definitely living beyond your means, huh? Finally, it's a very, very big coincidence that they let her go precisely on the day of their return when she's gone for 5 days. Ooh. Maybe she bailed on her job, huh? And that's why she lost it. Mark now probably feels guilty for not paying for the trip. I don't know that last bit for certain, so I'm assuming, well, they're both have pretty codependent behaviors. And so they'll assume responsibility. One might assume responsibility over the other. So far, I just see a lot of Lisa's BPD and not as much of her NPD. I wonder what I'm overlooking. Thanks for another great video, David. Well, we're saying she's undiagnosed borderline, but she's very narcissistic. Not necessarily has to have NPD. That higher spectrum borderline, which makes them even more narcissistic. These are good. The I love you not long after meeting would cue the bass drop sound effect. JR from Tennessee says the thing about rushed intimacy someone mentioned is you can't get around it when they're sex crazed. I've even heard older women, guys my age have dated are sex crazed. Plus that would feel like I was dating my mother. In the next episode, here, this is the last one. In the next episode, Lisa will show up to Mark's work, call, text Mark, will not be able to pick up or text back. Lisa might feel abandoned and might become draining to Mark, having to look at his phone a lot more, worrying about Lisa. We'll see. Love the videos, David. Thank you. Okay, let's get into it. Just a couple red flags I like to point out. Not that I just point out a couple here. The I love you. And Mark, I want to be ready. Same as the person that said that earlier. When he put dating on the social media, it shows commitment, right? That was the point of maybe where they committed, because they haven't really talked about commitment, about dating anybody else, being exclusive, and I want to be with you, and are we dating? Are we together? Are we an item? Are we something? Commitment must be spoken about, and that might sound funny, especially like maybe with friends. Like, we're friends now, right? But there's got to be something noted that I am committed to you in some way. That's when we start meeting each other's needs, not before. And those commitment and boundaries go together like that. And so Mark said that they're dating on social media, and Lisa loved it. But it showed commitment, but not really spoken about. I didn't say anything. Mom doesn't need Lynn's help. That's a red flag when she says she's there to help her mom. This is something you'll see very common amongst toxic people that are exploitative and manipulative. They'll exploit somebody and almost parasitic on them, and then totally reverse it, and they need me. They need me here. I know they feed me, clothe me, and I don't pay them anything, but they need me. They're always asking me for help and little things and stuff. Mark paying for the dates. When you do that, guys, it makes it imbalance. It says that you're better than me, period. Not that I'm better than you because I got the money and I make more money and I pay for more things, so you need me. No. It's investment. Mark's investing. Okay, and she's not until she paid for that trip, I guess. Drinking too much, twice they've done that. And Lisa only had a temporary job. Not that having a temporary job in your life sometimes is bad or wrong, but it's temporary. It's like I'm in a temporary place in my life right now. Transitional. So Lisa says, I don't know what to do. Picking right up where we left off. About her losing her job, remember? They got back, Lisa lost her job, and she says, I don't know what to do. Mark says, everything will be okay. I promise. Mark invites her to her parents for dinner the next night. Lisa loved them, and they loved Lisa. Both Mark's mom and dad really liked Lisa, took to her well, and Lisa had a good time. Afterwards, Lisa said, I didn't get a good family, and I really love yours. This made Mark really happy. It feels like he's closer to what he wanted. Maybe he found the one. Everything seemed to go, mesh well when they like the family and your family approves and likes them. One night, Lisa called Mark really upset. Lisa says, my mom and I are fighting. Now she's telling me she doesn't even want me here anymore. And I don't have a job, Mark. I can't believe this. I can't believe after everything I've done for my mom, she doesn't want me here anymore. I've been helping her keep the house clean, situated, organized. You know, she's been needing help going to the doctors and stuff like this. I've been making food and feeding her. And she tries to act like she doesn't need it. And now she's just pushing me away and doesn't even want me here anymore. Totally ungrateful. Mark says, well, if you need to, you can stay with me. At least for a little while until you get back on your feet. It's no big deal. And Lisa's like, you said you didn't want to move so fast. And Lisa ended up moving in with Mark in his one-bedroom apartment over the next couple of days. They were happy together. One night, Mark's friend came over, Jake, and they had fun, the three of them. Played some games, hung out, watched TV. Jake made a comment about Mark being funny, a small teasing Jake did, and Lisa laughed loud. Jake said, yeah, I don't know how you put up with this guy. And Lisa, half smiling, says, yeah, sometimes I wonder that too. Jake pulls Mark aside and tells Mark to watch out for Lisa. He didn't like how she reacted. It was her tone or something. Something's not right, Mark. I don't know about her. Jake says, she's a trip. Mark was insulted. Wasn't very nice. It's the first time that Jake got to meet his new girlfriend, and he really wanted them to meet and hit it off. And now he didn't think that they did. Not only that, but Jake doesn't seem to approve very well of Lisa. And then after Jake left later, Lisa says, I don't think your friend Jake likes me. And this made Mark really upset. In the first month of staying with Mark, Lisa got a job. She got a job, a permanent job. And they went out to celebrate. Pretty good. Lisa says, this means I should leave soon though, huh, Mark? Now that I got a job, it's just going to be temporary. And he said, well, so she said, thank you for letting me stay here. And Mark said, well, you know, Mark was just enjoying living with her. You know, the domestic part of the relationship he enjoyed, even though it was short. They got along really well. And he doesn't see the point in her now, after they've lived together, now go get her own place. She pays for her own place, he pays for his place. Well, you know, when are they going to live together again? In a year or two? Mark says, what if I don't want you to leave? And Lisa says, really? Oh, I love you so much I don't ever want to leave. And that's it. They're living together. What do you guys think of this one? Love to hear. So, point out a few red flags. Can you say moving in very fast? I think the timeline would be about, gosh, within the first 3 months. 90 days. Very, very fast. What do you guys think? Red flags, where do you think this is going? What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think about Jake? What Jake said? Is that something you guys have dealt with? I have. Big time. Thanks, guys. Let me know. I'll see you for chapter 6 soon. Thanks. Love yourself first. Bye.